Hi, and welcome. I'm just turning the volume up to Mrs. Pam Reads. We are continuing in our story, The Help by Kayhryn Stockett. We will be in chapter 24 today. It is from Minnie's perspective, and I'm going to break it up into 3 different videos because it's a very long chapter. In chapter 23, what was her name? Minnie's boss, Celia Foote, showed up at Miss Leafolt's house, I believe is how that went. And Miss Hilly was there. And we came to find out that Minnie had been referred, but she hadn't really been referred. And there's a little bit of discussion about that last chapter. So now chapter 24 from Minnie's perspective. I'm at the kitchen sink waiting for Miss Celia to come home. The rag I've been pulling on is in shreds. That crazy woman woke up this morning, squoze into the tightest pink sweater she has, which is saying something, and hollered, "I'm going to Elizabeth Leafolt's right now while I got the nerve, Minnie." Then she drove off in her Bel Air convertible with her skirt hanging out the door. I was just jittery until the phone rang. Abilene was hiccuping because she was so upset. Not only did Miss Celia tell the ladies that Minnie Jackson is working for her, she informed them that Miss Leafolt was the one who recommended me. And that was all the story Abilene had heard. It'll take those cackling hens about 5 minutes to figure this out. So now I have to wait. Wait to find out if, number 1, my best friend in the entire world gets fired for getting me a job. And number 2, if Miss Hilly told Miss Celia those lies that I'm a thief. And number 2.5, if Miss Hilly told Miss Celia how I got back at her for telling those lies that I'm a thief. I'm so sorry for that terrible, awful thing I done. Those are in capital letters, terrible, awful thing. But now that Miss Hilly put her own maid in jail to rot, I wonder what that lady's going to do to me. It's not until 10 after 4, an hour past my time to leave, that I see Miss Celia's car pull in. She jiggles up the walk like she's got something to say. I hitch up my pantyhose. "Minnie, it's so late," she yelled. "What happened, Miss Leafolt?" I'm not even trying to be coy. I want to know. "Go, please. Johnny's coming home any minute." She's pushing me to the washroom where I keep my things. "We'll talk tomorrow," she says. But for once, I don't want to go home. I want to hear what Miss Hilly said about me. Hearing your maid's a thief is like hearing your kid's teacher is a twiddler. You don't give them the benefit of the doubt. You just get the hell rid of them. But Miss Celia won't tell me anything. She's shooing me out so she can keep up her charade. So twisted, it's like kudzu. Mr. Johnny knows about me. Miss Celia knows Mr. Johnny knows about me. But Mr. Johnny doesn't know that Miss Celia knows he knows. And because of that ridiculousness, I have to leave at 4:10 and worry about Miss Hilly for the entire night. The next morning before work, Abilene calls my house. "I call poor Fanny early this morning because I know you've been stewing about it all night." Poor Fanny's Miss Hilly's new maid. Ought to call her Fool Fanny for working there. She heard Miss Lethal and Miss Hilly done decided you made the whole recommendation thing up, so Miss Celia would give you the job. Whew. I let out a long breath. Glad you ain't gone get in trouble, I say. Still now, Miss Hilly calling me a liar and a thief. Don't you worry about me, Abilene says. You just keep Miss Hilly from talking to your boss lady. When I get to work, Miss Celia's rushing out to go buy a dress for the benefit next month. She says she wants to be the first person in the store. It's not like the old days when she was pregnant. Now she can't wait to get out the door. I stomp out to the backyard and wipe down the lawn chairs. The birds all twitter up in a huff when they see me coming, making the camellia bush rattle. Last spring, Miss Celia was always nagging at me to take those flowers home. But I know camellias. You bring a bunch inside thinking how it's so fresh, it looks like it's moving. And as soon as you go down for a sniff, you see you've brought an army full of spider mites in the house. I hear a stick break, then another behind the bushes. I prickle inside, hold still. We're out in the middle of nowhere, and nobody would hear us call for miles. But I listen, but I don't hear anything else. I tell myself it's just the old dregs of waiting for Mr. Johnny. Or maybe I'm paranoid because I worked with Miss Skeeter last night on the book. I'm always jittery after talking to her. Finally, I go back to cleaning pool chairs, picking up Miss Celia's movie magazines and tissues the slob leaves out here. The phone rings inside. I'm not supposed to answer the phone, what with Miss Celia trying to keep up the big fat lie with Mr. Johnny. But she's not here, and it might be Abilene with more news. I go inside, lock the door behind me. Miss Celia residence. Lord, I hope it's not Miss Celia calling. This is Hilly Holbrook speaking. Who is this? My blood whooshes down from my hair to my feet. I am empty, bloodless shell for about 5 seconds. I lower my voice, make it deep like a stranger. This Doreen, Miss Celia's help. Doreen? Why I use my sister's name? Doreen, I thought Minnie Jackson was Miss Foot's maid. She quit. Is that right? Let me speak to Mrs. Foot. She out of town, down at the coast for my mind's pedaling 1,000 miles an hour to come up with the details. Well, when is she coming back? Long time. Well, when she gets back, you tell her I called. Hilly Holbrook, Emerson 36840. Yes, ma'am. I tell her. In about 100 years. I hold on to the counter edge, wait for my heart to stop hammering. It's not that Miss Hilly can't find me. I mean, she could just look up Minnie Jackson on Tick Road in the phone book and get my address. And it's not like I couldn't tell Miss Celia what happened. Tell her I'm not a thief. Maybe she'd believe me after all. But it's the terrible awful that ruins it all. Terrible awful, capital letters. 4 hours later, Miss Celia walks in with 5 big boxes stacked on top of each other. I help her tote them back to her bedroom, and then I stand very still outside her door to see if she'll call up the society ladies like she does every day. Sure enough, I hear her pick up the phone, but she just hangs it back up again. The fool's listening for the dial tone again, in case someone tries to call in. Even though it's the 3rd week of October, the summer beats on with the rhythm of a clothes dryer. The grass in Miss Celia's yard is still a full-blown green. The orange dahlias are still smiling drunk up at the sun. And every night, damn mosquitoes come out for their blood hunt. My sweat pads went up 3 cents a box, and my electric fan is broke dead on my kitchen floor. On this October morning, 3 days after Miss Hilly called, I walk into work half an hour early. I've got sugar, seeing the kids to school. The coffee grinds in the fancy percolator. The water goes in the pot. I lean my bottom against the counter. Quiet. It's what I've been waiting for all night long. The Frigidaire picks up a hum where it left off. I put my hand on it to feel its vibration. You're awful early, Minny. I open the refrigerator and bury my head inside. Morning, I say from the crisper. All I can think is, not yet. I fiddle with some artichokes, the cold spines prickling my hand. Bent over like this, my head pounds even harder. I'm on Fix You and Mr. Johnny a roast, and I'm on Fix some, but the words go all high-pitched on me. Minny, what happened? Miss Celia has made her way around the refrigerator door without me even realizing it. My face bunches up. The cut, on my eyebrow breaks open again. The hot blood stinging like a razor. Usually my bruises don't show. Honey, sit down. Did you take a spill? She props her hand on the hip of her pink nightgown. Did you trip on the fan cord again? I'm fine, I say, trying to turn so she can't see me. But Miss Celia's moving with me, bug-eyed at the cut like she's never seen anything so awful. I had a white lady tell me once that blood looks redder on a colored person. I take a wad of cotton from my pocket and hold it to my face. It's nothing, I say. I banged it in the bathtub. Minny, that thing's bleeding. I think you need some stitches. Let me get Dr. Neal over here. She grabs the phone from the wall, then bangs it back. Oh, he's up at the hunting cab with Johnny. I'll call Dr. Steele then. Miss Celia, I don't need no doctor. You need medical attention, Minny, she says, picking the phone back up. Do I really have to say it? I grit my teeth to get it out. Them doctors ain't gonna work on no colored person, Miss Celia. She hangs up the phone again. I turn and face the sink. I keep thinking, this ain't nobody's business. Just do your work. But I haven't had a minute's sleep. Leroy screamed at me all night, threw the sugar bowl upside my head, threw my clothes out on the porch. I mean, when he's drinking the Thunderbird, it's one thing, but the shame is so heavy, I think it pulled me to the floor. Leroy, he wasn't on Thunderbird this time. This time he beat me stone cold sober. Get on out here, Miss Celia. Let me get some work done, I say, because I just need some time alone. At first, I thought Leroy had found out about my working with Miss Skeeter. It was the only reason I could come up with while he was beating me with his hand. But he didn't say a thing about it. He was just beating me for the sure pleasure of it. Minny, Miss Celia says, eyeing the cut again, are you sure you did that in the bathtub? I run the water just to get some noise in the room. I told you I did, and I did, all right? She gives me a suspicious look and points her finger at me. All right, but I'm fixing you a cup of coffee, and I want you to just take the day off, okay? Miss Celia goes to the coffee percolator, pours 2 cups, but then stops. Looks at me kind of surprised. I don't know how you take your coffee, Minny. I roll my eyes. Same as you. She drops 2 sugars into both mugs. She gives me my coffee and then she stands staring out the back window with her jaw set tight. I start washing last night's dishes, wishing she'd just leave me be. You know, she says kind of low, you can talk to me about anything, Minny. I keep washing, feel my nose start to flare. I've seen some things back when I lived in Sugar Ditch. In fact, I look up, about to give it to her for getting in my business. But Miss Celia says in a funny voice, we've got to call the police, Minny. I put my coffee cup down so hard it splashes. Now look a here. I don't want no police getting involved. She points out the back window. There's a man, Minny, out there. I turn to see where she's looking. Oh my, a man, a naked man is out by the azaleas. I blink to see if it's real. He's tall, mealy looking, and white. He's standing with his back to us about 15 feet away. His brown, tangled hair is long, like a hobo. Even from the back, I can tell he's touching himself. Who is he? Miss Celia whispers. What's he doing here? The man turns to face front, almost like he heard us. Both our jaws drop. He's holding it out like he's offering us a po' boy sandwich. Oh, God, Miss Celia says. His eyes search the window. They land right on mine, staring a dark line across the lawn. I shiver. It's like he knows me, Minnie Jackson. He's staring with his lip curled like I deserved every bad day I've ever lived, every night I haven't slept, every blow Leroy's ever given, deserved it and more. And his fist starts punching his palm with a slow rhythm. Punch, punch, punch. Like he knows exactly what he's going to do with me. I feel the throb in my eye start again. We've got to call the police, whispers Miss Celia. Her wide eyes dart to the phone on the other side of the kitchen, but she doesn't move an inch. It'll take him 45 minutes just to find the house, I say. He could break the door down by then. I run to the back door, flip the lock on. I dart to the front door and lock it, ducking down when I pass back by the window. I stand up on my tiptoes, peek through the little square window on the back door. Miss Celia peeks around the side of the big window. The naked man's walking real slow up toward the house. He comes up the back steps. He tries the doorknob. I watch it jiggle, feeling my heart whapping against my ribs. I hear Miss Celia on the phone saying, police, we're getting intruded. There's a man, a naked man trying to get in the... I jump back from the little square window just in time for the rock to smash through. Feel the sprinkle of shards hit my face. Through the big window, I see the man backing up, like he's trying to see where to break in next. Lord, I'm praying, I don't want to do this. Don't make me have to do this. Again, he stares at us through the window, and I know we can't just sit here like a duck dinner waiting for him to get in. All he has to do is break a floor-to-ceiling window and step on in. Lord, I know what I have to do. Oh boy, I have to go out there. I have to get him first. You stand back, Miss Celia, I say, and my voice is shaking. I go get Mr. Johnny's hunting knife, still in the sheet from the bear. But the blade's so short, he'll have to be awful close for me to cut him. So I get the broom too. I look out, and he's in the middle of the yard, looking up at the house, figuring things out. I open the back door and slip out. Across the yard, the man smiles at me, showing a mouth with about 2 teeth. He stops punching and goes back to stroking himself, smoothly, evenly now. Lock the door, I hiss behind me. Keep it locked. I hear the click. I tuck the knife in the belt of my uniform, make sure it's tight, and I grip the broom with both hands. And we're going to stop there. Wow, this is a interesting chapter. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining me for Mrs. Pam Reads. And I guess I don't need to show you my sign because we're still in the middle of the chapter. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you don't have any naked men in your yard. Goodness. I will see you next time, and we will see what happens.